Alright, as you can see if anybody's on here with me, just letting it cycle a few times while I get some stuff set up. Obviously kind of a Twitch noob here. I actually tried to stream this a little while ago and had some relative success, but I want to give it a second go through for a couple of reasons. One, I actually know what I'm doing with my OBS software this time around. And alright, looks like Luke's already in the comment section. Sweet. Thanks, buddy. Yeah, I wanted to give this a second shot here because I think this is one of my favorite games. It's definitely worth visiting at least a couple of times on my end. Yeah, and also I wanted to make sure this was archived so I can put it up on YouTube if I want to afterwards. So anyway, that's enough explanation. I'm going to jump right into this game here if my controller decides to work here. So awesome. Hey Kahoshi, thanks for joining us. So I'll give my brief spiel about this game. You can see that I'm in Zone 3 on my first file here. Again, I'm going to start over one more time because I want to do these first two levels before Marble Garden. But Sonic 3 and Knuckles is one of my favorite games. Oh, here we go. It's one of my favorite games because it's technically Sonic's third and fourth games combined into one package, and I feel like they really hit a sweet spot with this. They built up on the system of Sonic 2 and added a lot of extras with this one, so it's got 3 playable characters, Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles. It's 2-player, but it can also be single player here, as I'm doing with an AI Tails, and you'll see that he's not too bright, but fortunately oh gosh, that's bad right there, helps out quite a bit in boss battles. So we're gonna go with him. So don't expect this to be a flawless speed run in any way, shape, or form. I would say 10 to 15 years ago, I had this game memorized. But other than my last stream, it has been a really, really long time since I've played this game, actually. See, and you can see I just completely destroyed Blue Sphere Stage 1 here, but in my defense, that was one of the trickier ones. We'll redeem it later. This is a pretty unique little spot right here. I don't think there are any other points where you can move a rock in Sonic. At least not in the old 2D ones. So here we get a little story segment right here, I guess if you want to call it that. You can't actually, that's the mini boss of the level, you can't actually beat him over there. This game has also got some excellent bonus stages. It's got a variety of them depending on how many rings that you're holding. Lots of slot machines and casino-like things. This one you gotta, as you can see, circle these like electrical spheres and climb to the top. You don't actually get anything for getting to the top, but you have the opportunity to get some more power-ups and rings here, which in turn means more lives. So you can see right there, I just completed it. But if you're too slow, there's this weird kind of like double helix DNA thing following you, and if you mess that up, then you're just teleported out of it. Man, another one of the big rings here. So let's see if I can actually do a halfway decent job with this. So for those of you who are not old school Sonic fans, or maybe have not seen these particular games, the goal of this, oh gosh, oh, so embarrassing. First stream, I got, I think, my first 2 or 3 of those flawlessly. The goal of those is to collect all the blue spheres, hence the name Blue Sphere. And once you do, you get a Chaos Emerald. You need to collect a number of those Chaos Emeralds to unlock the proper ending of the game, secret final boss, and in the compilation of Sonic 3 and Sonic and Knuckles here, you actually have to get twice as many Chaos Emeralds. You get the originals and then you upgrade them to Master Emeralds, and I honestly don't know if I'm going to be able to do that on Twitch here again, because it's been so many years since I played these, but it's pretty fun. When you do, you unlock Super Sonic, who looks kind of like a Dragon Ball Z character, but is really fun to play with. I've never done it with Knuckles, so, you know, I'm a big Sonic fan, but I'm not a die-hard Sonic fan. Yeah, I haven't done it with Knuckles. Tails gets invincibility and has a bunch of little bluebirds from the game Flicky that fly around him and make him invincible. So that's a lot of fun. So you can see I hammered that mini boss pretty quickly there. The nice thing was I had that fire shield, so you're basically invulnerable to him. Right now I've got this bubble shield, which is going to really come in handy in Act 2 because there's some water, and as people who've played the older Sonic games know, he can't breathe underwater, and there's this horrendous countdown when you start to run out of air that really stresses you out, so I'm a big fan of the bubble shield. There we go. It's funny because this kind of like pseudo 3D thing going on right here is really not very impressive by today's standards. But man, when it came out on Sega Genesis, it was like state of the art. Alright, there we go. 3rd time's the charm, right? I got lucky. What can I say? There's going to be some water down here. That's not very threatening, but this is what I'm kind of worried about down there. Oh, bad timing there. I think part of the appeal of this game to me is that it has these hints of story to it that just aren't really captured by any of the other Sonic games. So once Sonic transitioned to 3D, things got cheesy really, really fast. They became like anthropomorphic soap operas. I mean, at the time of Dreamcast, the quality wasn't quite there with video games all around. Early 3D, I mean, was definitely far from perfect. But I firmly believe that there is kind of this elegance and minimalism. So in Sonic 3 and Knuckles, you get this sense that Robotnik or Eggman is really taking over this world, and he becomes he seriously feels like a threat rather than kind of a joke as he becomes later in the series. But you don't quite have the story elements from these games in Sonic 2 either. It was really, they started to introduce more of it in here. It's a little more substantial than reading, say, the player's manual that came with the game cartridge when you would have bought it, or CD. Okay, I better stop gambling this because I have 137 rings, and I do not want to lose those. Yeah, but on the same train of thought, you can tell a really good story without having to have dialogue. I feel like there are a lot of games, even modern games, that still kind of that don't add unnecessary dialogue and are better games for it. They leave something to imagination. Oh man, I'm gonna have to do some post-editing on this one. It's gonna be rough here without a shield, considering my lack of practice. Yeah, let's not go that way. Too early, or too late. So at the time of recording this, we are only a couple of weeks away from... Oh, that was embarrassing too. We're only a couple of weeks away from the release of Sonic Mania, and yeah, I'm excited because it's very nostalgic, but we haven't had a good Sonic game for a little while now, and it looks like it's going to be a blast. It's a good love letter to this series. So this little segment here is not so hard with Sonic because he can just run right in front of these here. I don't recall, but I feel like since Tails is slower, he gets hit more easily with those bombs. Ooh, this is going to be a true test of my skill now. There we go. First death in the first level. I better hold on to these 6 rings for dear life. I guess you win some, you lose some. I think my audio commentary in my second run is much better than my first run, but man, I'm not playing such a great game tonight. Tails almost just tried to take my life right there. He can be a huge help, but he can also be a huge hindrance. You'll see on the second boss that he's more of a help for sure. There we go. And everybody's favorite part, free the little animals. So I mentioned flickies earlier. Those little blue birds are called flickies. I don't know if they originated in Sonic, but there is an old Sega game just called Flicky, and you control one of them. So if we got anybody who has listened to our very amateur hobby podcast that Luke and Justin and I have been working on, DownB, in episode 2, I used this music track briefly when talking about this game. I don't know if it's called, I don't know if it's technically Hydro City or Hydrocity. I like the sound of the second one, but I think I'm just making it up because I like the sound of it. So there's another bubble shield, which is awesome because you'll find that if I ever do a stream of Sonic 1 or 2, there is no bubble shield to save my life. And you might have seen what happened to Tails there a second ago. He didn't last, but somehow he manages to come back to life constantly. There's a really stupid, hilarious video on, it's either College Humor or Dorkly Bits or both, from a few years back, and it's about how Tails is immortal, and it's got this kind of Twilight Zone vibe to it, where it's funny, but it's dark humor. Tails can't die because he always regenerates in these games, and well, he finds out that he's the only one left after a while. If you like that kind of stupid dark humor, check it out. Otherwise, avoid it like the plague. The level design in this game definitely isn't perfect, but it's, you know, in my humble opinion, is honestly pretty darn good. Because you can just get into these segments where you are cruising without a stop. I mean, I say that as I hit the spikes, but had I played this more frequently, I would have remembered the placement of all of these things. Oh yeah, I remember last time I played this level, that little piranha robot that tried to get me did get me. I don't know if I can actually bounce up here. Just a hair too short. Oh, the timing's bad on that. Oh. There we go. This is very, very off topic, but if anybody is a fan of platform games, yesterday I actually picked up for my Switch Mighty Gun Volt Burst. And it's like a Mega Man style game, really, really well made, and pretty darn tricky, so I'm not, I haven't played it enough to write a review of it, but if you're someone who's curious, looking for a fun little platformer that's new, that's a good one. Ugh. So, that Blue Sphere stage, I think the community would agree, is the hardest one before the Master Emeralds. So I don't expect to do that until the very, very end of my run here. So I could do all of those extra bonus things, but I'm going to ignore them for the sake of time. Alright, so you will see that this particular boss is a little bit harder than the other one that I fought. Once he gets you trapped in this vortex, there's not a whole lot you can do. Charizard the Flame, what's up, man? And when I say man, I don't mean I'm assuming anybody's gender here either. Not even for girl 1001. Good timing for jumping in on there. Thanks for joining us, guys. I'm not going to play too much longer tonight, honestly, but I'll give... I might give part of Marble Garden Zone a chance here. We'll see how long part 2 of our second level goes. So you get this nice panic-inducing segment with a wall chasing you. You can see how out of practice I am, and that's that was totally a glitch. Oh my gosh, that should have killed me right there. The many times I've played this, I have actually never been pushed through a wall at that segment. So I don't know if that was just a perfect timed glitch, or if it's the PC Steam version of this, honestly. I used to play this game both on a friend's Sega Genesis, and I bought it for PC on a CD many years ago. And I also had it on the GameCube, Sega, gosh, what was it called? I want to say it's the Sonic Mega Collection, I think. So yeah, if you can't tell, I'm a fan of this game. If you're joining me here. Charizard, are we gonna have Hypersonic in Sonic Mania? I'm really tempted at this point to watch like every video for Sonic Mania out there, and I've done quite a bit, to be honest, but I'm trying not to ruin the entire game before it releases. I think we have like 13 days or roughly 13 days until it comes out, and I've seen maybe 4 or 5 stages. Get out of here, girl 101. Though I will admit there's truth to what you're saying. I gotta say, I'm entertained and I understand that sentiment, but quit being a troll. Ay, 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 ay. Alright, sorry for that, folks. I'm not opposed to having a little bit of fun in the chat here, but come on, keep it clean. So you'll quickly find that I am really, really bad at the second boss of this game, especially compared to the second boss of Sonic 1 and 2. With Tails, he's a piece of cake because Tails can fly. This guy, you gotta time pretty well. And if you have no rings, you have no insurance. Ah, Tails, why would you do that to me? We'll see if I can beat this guy with 4 lives. Actually, I feel like I have a harder time with this boss than a number of others in this game. I'm very soon gonna regret having chosen Tails to be my buddy. I wonder if it's better for me just to do a low jump. I'm gonna have to experiment here. Do a low jump and see if I can get him with Tails without risking my own life. That was not the way to do it. Or I can do it the tried and true old-fashioned way. Be patient. But that's not any fun, is it? Get him, Tails! So if Sonic Mania wants to make a really, really hard boss, they could have this guy and, I don't know, put a twist on him. Ah, no. Okay, good. I got the last ring. There we go. Awesome. I don't suck at this game. I can't brag either, but all right, sweet. Well, I know that was a pretty short run again here. I'm actually gonna attempt to save and wrap things up here. Thanks everybody who jumped on here and joined me for this quick little segment. I am going to be continuing from Marble Garden Zone next time I get on, so that'll be probably in the next week or two, and come this fall I'm going to try to do this a little bit more regularly. Things are a little bit crazy right now, so schedule's a little bit unpredictable. But yeah, let me know your thoughts, and if you haven't checked out our startup podcast, go to DownB.net. Again, it's pretty rough. Our audio quality in the first few episodes is a little bit embarrassing, but hey, you got to start somewhere. So, all right, cool. Thanks, guys.